Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, class. How are you doing? I hope you all doing great. First of all, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mirza Royhamdan Nazar, but you can just call me Mr. Roy. And today we're going to talk about slang. Now, I want to ask you a question. What is slang? Do you already know what slang is?
I think it's bahasa gaul in Indonesia, bahasa Indonesia.
Yeah, bahasa gaul. That's right. Good, correct. Thank you for your answer, Anissa Agustin. According to Cambridge Dictionary, slang is very informal language that is usually spoken rather than written. It used especially by particular groups of people. So slang just means very informal language. You know, sometimes when you open social media like Instagram or TikTok, and you see people text each other, they use a very informal language, and we could call that slang. You will not find these words in our school material because it's very informal. Now, take a look at these examples. Let's say you meet your grandpa. You could say, "Hi, grandpa," or "Hey, grandpa." That would be the normal talking. Now, let's say your grandpa is at a fancy and expensive restaurant, and a waiter opens the door for your grandpa and he says, "Good morning, sir." That would be the example of formal speech, formal talking. But you know, most of the time, people don't talk like this. But in formal situations, they might say this, or you might see your grandpa and say, "Sup, Gramps? What's up, Gramps?" Just like the picture you're seeing right now in the screen. It is from a movie called Dirty Grandpa. The actor, Zac Efron, says, "Sup, Gramps? Sup, Gramps?" That would be the slang. Sup is short for what's up. Now, next slide. Let's take a look at language here. Language is always like a spectrum of a lot of different ways you can talk. You have formal language here, and then you have very informal language over there, which we call slang. And then everything in the middle is normal. Normal is informal, but when we talk English in a normal setting, we use informal language. We don't use formal speech very often. Actually, we often use informal speech in very formal situation, right? So just because a situation is formal, it doesn't mean you have to use formal language very often. Next slide. For example, let's say you're in a meeting to save the earth with superheroes here, the Avengers, and you are the leader of the meeting, and you would say, "Do you guys want to take a bathroom break?" Look at the word "guys" here. You think that's slang? That's kind of informal, right? It's kind of informal for important and formal meeting. You're in a middle meeting of to save the world. You're talking to men, women, to gentlemen and ladies here. So you might think this is a formal situation. You should have said, "Would you men and women, or would you ladies and gentlemen like to take a bathroom break?" But you didn't say that. You said, "Do you guys want to take a bathroom break?" Okay, so even in the most formal situation, we often use very informal kind of language. Some people would think the word "guys" is slang, but most people nowadays would probably say the word "guys" is just normal talking, and that means man and woman. You may often hear or use word "guys" in your daily activities, right? For example, you could use that when you're talking to your grandparents. You could say, "Hey, grandma and grandpa, do you guys want to go for coffee?" Or you could say it when you're talking to a group of kids. "Hey, do you guys want ice cream?" Even if all the kids are girls and boys, you can still use the word "guys." Guys nowadays is just a very normal way of talking. It's like two or more people. It doesn't matter if they're men, women, children, or people, whatever you call it. You can use the word "guys." So it's kind of relative, you know. It's up to you. You can decide what is slang and what's not. Relative means it's not fixed and there is no answer. someone might think one word is slang, and then you could ask another native English speaker, and they would say, no, I don't think that's slang. That's normal. Okay, next slide. Now, some of you may wondering, how do I know if a word is slang, normal, or formal? If you're learning English, you want to know this, right? How do I know if a word is slang, normal, or formal? Or if I should use it in formal situation? Well, that's very hard, and it comes down to the feeling. You need to feel the word. For example, the word bathroom here and the can, they mean the same thing. They have exactly the same meaning, but they have a different feeling. If I'm talking to my grandma, I might say, hey, grandma, I need to use the can. But I would not say that to your grandma because it would feel strange and weird, and it would feel too informal to say that to your grandma. But I could say that to my grandma. So that's the example of how words have certain feeling, even though they might mean the same thing. So every word in English has a feeling. It has a feeling, and you need to learn the feeling as well, not only just the meaning. So in every situation, our mind is making decision on what kind of language we're going to use. Maybe you have more casual relationship with your grandma, and maybe your relationship with your grandpa is for some reason more formal. We make this kinds of decision what we're going to say, which words are appropriate and maybe inappropriate to use in that situation. Next slide. Some people think slang means idioms and phrasal verbs or other kinds of language like this. No, that's slang. Actually, that's a mistake because they might think, well, I just want to learn English for my job. I don't need to learn English slang. Why would I learn slang? That's a big mistake because idioms and phrasal verbs are very common in every part of English. So don't think that they are not important. They are also very, very important. So idioms, phrasal verbs are very important for the whole range of English, and slang just means of kind of writing, speaking that is very informal, but that's important too if you want to improve your English. It's good to expand your range of understand and speaking in English. But besides being understood only within a particular group, slang can also be general. As you can see on your screen here, there is a movie poster called Crazy Rich Asians. Well, almost every native English speaker knows that filthy rich or crazy rich doesn't mean to be dirty or crazy, but to have a lot of money. They're crazy about it. They're filthy about money. In this situation, slang changes its objective of being limited to a certain group. Okay, next slide. Okay, now we're close to the end of our presentation. And as you can see, I have collected so many slang words from many resources. Some of you might have ever heard of these words, but does anyone not know any of these words yet? You can ask me now. Anyone?
Me. What does a Karen mean? I never heard that.
Oh, a Karen. Yeah, a Karen. A Karen means a disparaging way to describe a pithy middle-aged woman who is very, very rude, especially to people who work in service industry. For example, when you're saying, what a Karen, it's about someone who returns their drink at a restaurant for not having enough ice. It's really annoying, right? Just because you're not having enough ice, you want a return. Okay, that's it. Any question? Anyone else?
I want to ask, how about piece of cake? What does that mean?
Piece of cake. Piece of cake means easy or effortless. So when you're doing something that you feel easy and you don't put so much effort in it, that's what piece of cake is. For example, when you're saying, this is really piece of cake. I can do it while closing my eyes. Okay, that's enough here for the questions. I will continue to the next slide. Now, as you can see here, it's a scene from a movie called Forrest Gump, played by Tom Hanks. In that scene, he said, "My mama always said you've got to put the past behind you before you can move on." That's how he talked in this scene. In this movie, he tries repeatedly to run from everything, but nothing more than his past, specifically Jenny's rejection. Jenny's rejection. Jenny is her girlfriend. His girlfriend. However, this means that he's never truly going to move forward in life, and he's always preoccupied with the past. The same way you learn a language, and if you make a mistake, that's okay. That's just part of learning, you know. And if you make embarrassing mistake, that's fine. That's okay. That's just part of life, you know. You will get over it. Just keep practicing because practice makes perfect. Okay, I think that's it, the end of our discussion about slang. I hope it helps you to improve your English into more wide range and not just learn one little piece of language. You should not limit yourself. Set your goal as high as possible so that you can be very fluent when you're talking to a real native English speaker. Okay, thank you for your attention. Also, thank you for those who have participated. I really appreciate it. I'm closing this presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.